This transit is something I am really excited about, my little buttercups. This is by far one of my favorite transits. I love when the transit planets move into their exalted signs. So why do astrologers call this one of the most favorable placements to experience? How does Jupiter moving into the sign of Cancer influence your emotions and your home life and your sense of purpose? I cannot wait to teach you how to extract the maximum energy from this transit, just like the elites do. That's the difference between the elites and everyone else. They know how to listen to the stars and align so that they are able to use these energies for their ultimate benefit in life. Just like they know how not to use their energy by working, but rather extracting energy from others to work for them. The elites make their money work for them. They don't work for their money. Have you ever noticed that? But here's the secret. Come here a little closer. This energy is here for everyone to use. And you don't even have to spend thousands of dollars on an astrologer to teach you the things that you must do to get the maximum benefit from this energy that we're going to be blessed with for the next year. So do not miss this opportunity to harness this energy and make it work for you. I'm so excited. Are you excited? Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So when something is exalted, it means that it's raised in rank. Just think of it as Cancer inviting Jupiter into its wonderful, cozy, beautiful home and making him a guest of honor at a dinner party. I mean, sure, Saturn is there, Mars and Mercury show up, but Jupiter is the one that Cancer cooks for and cooks a special dinner and praises. And because of this support, Jupiter has this natural freedom to express itself without stress or worry. I mean, Jupiter basically is praised by Cancer for how well it expresses itself. These two energies understand one another, so they get along. The result is doors opening, opportunities coming, and tension being reduced in your life. Jupiter expands the energies that it's around, and Cancer is a feminine sign. And just think about it. Women expand and multiply anything given to them. Have you ever heard that old saying, give a woman a sperm and she'll give you a child? Give a woman some groceries and she will turn it into a meal. Give a woman a house and she will turn it into a home. And just think, when a woman gets pregnant, she expands. Jupiter likes to give birth to new things, and so does Cancer. So as you can see, these energies have natural qualities that align harmoniously with one another. And when two energies are on the exact same page, it can get stuff done because the energy isn't being leaked trying to fix misunderstandings. Make sense? So we have a very selective window available to be able to harness this amazing energy. On June 9, 2025, Jupiter will enter Cancer in the United States. Now, this date could be off by a day if you live in some other parts of the world, so just be aware of that. But when Jupiter transits through Cancer, the collective will go through an emotional and nurturing ride for sure. So Cancer is ruled by the moon. And the moon governs home, family, our inner emotional world. And when we combine that energy with Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion and abundance and higher understanding, this energy opens the door to profound shifts in the individual and society about how we relate to family, femininity, emotional security, and even societal structures. One of the major themes of Jupiter in Cancer is its strong focus on family and motherhood. So during this time, we may see tangible government changes that support maternal roles, such as tax breaks or financial aid for stay-at-home parents, especially moms, or maybe some new initiatives that uplift traditional family structures. This could also spark conversations around what traditional gender roles are. And this may prompt society to reassess what is the role of the masculine energy in today's society? What is the role of feminine energy in today's society? And as these conversations unfold, it's very possible that society gains a greater appreciation for the feminine energy and begins to show gratitude towards the beautiful energy that is within all of us. This transit isn't just going to bring external shifts out into society. It's also going to bring internal growth within each of us. Jupiter in Cancer naturally brings a collective expansion of emotional awareness, which I absolutely cannot wait to see. Many will experience a shift from thinking to feeling. And this will be quite important because emotions are energy in motion. So they tell you when something is not aligning with your best and highest good. So something needs to change to get you into alignment. This will cause people to focus inward and to reassess their emotional lives and relationships up to this point. This is a time where close relationships may come under review to determine if this relationship is indeed helping you align with your highest vibration. I'll give you an example of how things may shift from thinking to feeling. So Brittany is currently in a relationship where she is financially dependent on her boyfriend. All the while, she's not being emotionally supported. Now, before this transit, she may think of this relationship in practical terms. So she may think, I know he doesn't understand my emotions and kind of even thinks I'm crazy with my reactions at times. But hey, at least I know the bills are paid and I'm always got a home that I can come home to. Well, this transit's going to shift that mindset in some of you. So after Jupiter moves into Cancer, Brittany may start thinking things like, how does this person make me feel? Am I being seen, heard, and emotionally validated by this person? Is he supporting my dreams and my visions? Does he appreciate what I do? You see what I'm saying? How someone makes you feel will come into focus with this transit. This is a beautiful time where support becomes available to you, which I love, love, love. But there's a catch, okay? In order to receive support, you have to be willing to face the reality of unsupportive situations and make the necessary changes. Do I need to say that again for anybody in the back? Okay. In order to receive support, you have to be willing to face the reality of the unsupportive situation and make the necessary changes. Now, that doesn't mean you have to break up, but it does mean you need to have some uncomfortable conversations with others and maybe seek therapy where a third party can help meditate between you. And yes, in some cases where the other person continues to not make you feel supported, you must make the necessary changes and leave. We all know how this gorgeous universe works. When one door closes, another one opens. So if you leave this person, you can have this space to invite new energy in. Just make sure you use your discernment and not allow the same energy in twice. Hold out until you receive the supportive partner that you want. Now, do you want in on a little secret to make this easier to do? Support yourself. If you support yourself first and stand up for what you want and back yourself up, then others will support you. It's the secret sauce to the universe, y'all. Jupiter is a little gardener with this transit. So he's providing the nutrients and he's fertilizing our soil so that we can grow big and thrive. Jupiter in Cancer asks us to create a new path that is rooted in our emotional investment. What are we emotionally invested in? And it will encourage us to grow and nurture not only ourselves, but our families, our ideas, our relationships, our values, and to ensure that these things are sustainable over a long period of time and aligned with the greater good of society. This is a time to sow seeds of love and compassion and security so that they may blossom into a more emotionally aware and nurturing world around us. So you will begin to see the opportunities to nurture and to sow seeds, okay? You will have opportunities to nurture yourself, children, partners, passions, plants, pets, siblings, parents, you name it. There will be instances during this transit where you will be called to nurture these people in your life. Now is the time to pour into the universe all that love and care that you want to receive and return. That energy will come back often in ways that you never, ever, ever expected. Jupiter in Cancer is a time to birth these new ideas that you've been thinking about. So maybe a new invention or a new job or new relationships, new perspectives, or maybe even a new child. Families may experience literal growth, such as a pregnancy, or maybe caring for an aging relative that person ends up moving in on you. Expansions will be everywhere. Maybe an expansion of the home, like moving to a bigger place or building an addition to your house. There also may be a desire to provide for your family in different types of ways. Cancer is a cardinal sign, so it definitely wants to take action. Maybe learning how to garden, to produce your own food, and then learning how to can it to save on your grocery bill while providing your family with a nutritious meal. Families also may find that during this time, they not only grow physically, but they also grow emotionally and spiritually. Now, I will say water is a natural element of Cancer, and it plays a vital role in cleansing and purifying this energy. You very well may find that people may feel called to visit oceans, lakes, or other bodies of water to reset or to gain wisdom. Some people may gravitate towards the water for grounding and renewal purposes and healing. Another layer of this transit involves ancestral healing. Ancestral wounds, perhaps carried through generations, may surface during this time. But never fear. With them also comes ancestral blessings and guidance to break those cycles. This is a deeply spiritual opportunity to heal family lineages and to create emotional security for the future generations of your lineage. Society at large may begin to shift its core values as well. We may see a cultural reevaluation of what traditions we keep and why we are keeping them. There's a growing trend of emotional awareness among children, which I love to see. Many children are being raised in homes where they are not subjected to the same types of traumas that we were as children. I've seen a few videos showing a parent who starts a commonly known toxic phrase that we heard from our childhood, only for their children to look on kind of confused because they've never actually heard it before. So let me give you an example. So the parent starts a sentence like, I brought you into this world, ... and then their children has to finish the sentence. Or children should be seen, ... And these kids just look totally confused because they've never heard those phrases that we have heard that, was very common during our time as growing up. Therapy could also see a boom during this time. Individuals and couples may turn to therapy to help process grief and trauma or past pain, seeking some emotional security and a deeper understanding of not only themselves, but also their relationships. Big emotional things may come up during this transit that still need to be worked out in your life. And finding gold is never just easy, okay? So prospectors, they have to put the work in to find the gold. They have to look and find it. They have to find the location. They have to figure out how to get it out from the ground in order to cash it in. And that's how this transit is going to be. And as long as you put in the necessary work in this next year, you will get the alchemical gold that you have been waiting for. This will open all the doors that have been difficult to open. So Jupiter enters Cancer for a week and treads the waters a little bit. Cancer is a water sign. So it's like Jupiter is first getting into the pool of Cancer and he's slowly easing into it because it's cold. Have y'all ever done that when you get into a pool? Just slowly ease into the waters because it's cold rather than just jumping right in. Now, 6 days after Jupiter enters into Cancer, it is going to make a wonderful, beautiful square to Saturn in Aries. And before you get your tinsels in a tangle, just know that Jupiter is driving his bus through Cancer these next 13 months. And every so often, he makes a stop and aspects a planet in order to clear some energy and unload the bus to make it lighter so that it can expand even more. So during this transit, it's going to make a lot of stops at Saturn, the North Node, and even Chiron. And when it gets to these places, there's going to be some karmic clearing so that he can expand even more and head on to his next stop. We will get into those in greater detail a little later on in this video, because what karma is cleared depends on what placement Jupiter comes to. Okay, so June 15, 2025, here in the United States, Jupiter will enter into an exact square with Saturn in Aries. Some of you, especially my more intuitive little buttercups, are going to feel this energy way before the date. But it's really going to come to its peak on June 15th. Right off the bat, you get into a potential clash between a planet that's carefree and optimistic and expansive, and a planet that's restrictive, reserved, and responsible. Jupiter is wild and free, and Saturn is disciplined. Now, when this happens, you will start to feel and see some type of internal and external conflict. There will be some tension brought up where something in your external experience is not aligning with what your soul wants to experience internally. You could very well see conflicting priorities between home and family, which is the Jupiter and Cancer, clashing with your personal ambitions, which is the Saturn and Aries. So it will be very important to ask yourself during this transit, what duties and responsibilities are occurring in my life that are preventing me from expanding into my highest potential? Don't make excuses and don't lie to yourself, okay? Let me ask you that question again. Go write it down and make it your journal entry for June 15th, 2025, because it's that important. What duties and responsibilities are occurring in my life that are preventing me from expanding into my highest potential? Really reflect and think. The answer is going to be different for everyone based on the aspects and that you have with these transits and what houses they occur in your natal chart. Responsibility may be preventing you from expressing your creative talent. For some people, this will be a time where they experience a soul versus salary crisis. A time where there is just this mental tug of war occurring with them between financial security and creative fulfillment, like Becky. Now, Becky has been at her job for 6 years, and she really is a hard worker and shows up consistently. She's been able to provide for herself as well as her family because she has a secure job. Because of this job, she's been able to keep the lights on, buy groceries, pay her car payment, make her house payment, enroll her kids in some basketball and karate lessons. I mean, heck, she's even been able to splurge here and there on some things, which all feels amazing. But there's this constant nagging in Becky's heart that she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing here on this earth. Becky is so creative. Like, it's amazing to me how her mind is able to even come up with the things that she does. She thought about maybe selling things on Etsy or eBay or making a YouTube tutorial video about her craft that she loves to do. But she ultimately always puts it back on the back burner because she has bills to worry about or kids to focus on. Well, during this transit, this creative talent is going to be screaming at her like, hey, look at me over here, Becky. I need you to see me. During this time, she's going to be put in situations where the external doesn't feel so good anymore. You know, the company that she works for only cares about profit. So they let some people go, and they never rehired anyone. And now the remaining workers have to do the workload of all the missing workers. She also isn't receiving big enough raises to keep up with the rising cost of everything. I mean, heck, her food bill doubled this year with no extra income to cover it. Also, there's just a lot of workplace drama where she works at. There's one particular person that Becky works with that literally does nothing. And it's frustrating because they are getting paid the exact same amount as Becky. She's just really over it, honestly. But she feels trapped in this job because It does provide stability, which is your Saturn, but it misaligns with her passions and purpose, which is her Jupiter. She's experiencing what I like to call burnout with benefits. She's completely burnt out on her job that she's performing each day, but hey, it provides great benefits. So she begins to reflect during this transit. How can I use my creative talent of knitting to make an income? How can I share my knowledge and gift to the world? In today's society, sweetie, there is all kinds of ways to make money with your talent. The one good thing about the internet is you can use your skill, hobby, or creative talent to make some money. She can teach others the skill of knitting on YouTube or TikTok. She can create online classes where she teaches. She can sell knitted items online and bring comfort to others. She can write a book on knitting and sell her knitting pattern. There's so many different things that she could do where she could use her skill that she's already an expert at doing and something she's passionate about to help others. Now, this is just one example, but if you are someone that is working a job that is not personally fulfilling you and you are stifling your creativeness because of your sense of responsibility, you may find yourself reflecting on how you can use your creative talent in a way to serve the world, whatever it may be. Honey, we are living in the time of Pluto in Aquarius where the towers are falling of the way things once were and new societal norms are being created. You don't even have to get a degree these days to make money. I've even watched some YouTubers that had a mental health disorder speak out about it. And now people actually book them for appointments so that the YouTuber can give their points of view on things. You see what I'm saying? Like, that person didn't have to go to school and get a degree to become a therapist. They literally got online, spoke authentically about their mental illness, and now look at them, making more money than the therapist who went to school. Other examples of things that may show up during this particular transit of Jupiter in Cancer squaring Saturn in Aries is you may feel responsible for your partner in some way, but it's holding you back. Or responsible for a friend, but it's holding you back. Or responsible for a parent, but it's holding you back from reaching your highest potential. Long-held beliefs may be broken down with this square. Saturn is a disciplined planet that slowly builds, and Jupiter comes in to take things to a higher level. Now, this is where you're going to have some self-confidence and some self-esteem and some self-worth, because if you are lacking any of these things, it will be exposed during this transit. And don't be defeated. No, my little buttercup. This transit is here to show you it is okay to be selfish sometimes. Because let me tell you, when you start standing up for yourself and what you believe in and stand strong in what you want to do with your life, you are going to have some haters. Your haters are going to be the people that have been benefiting from your energy the way that it is currently. They love where you are because they can feed off your energy. But the moment you take a stand and do something for yourself and switch directions, well, they can't feed off that energy anymore. So of course they're going to get mad. So if you hear people say that you're wrong for doing something, or you're selfish for doing this, or they call you names, brush it off, buttercup, because you know that you're on the right path if that is happening. So let's look at some examples of how long-held beliefs may be broken down during this transit. I've already kind of mentioned one earlier, where there was a time in this world where a college degree landed you a great paying job with some amazing benefits. It paid to go to college at one time, but that's a thing of the past now. You absolutely do not need a college degree to make money these days. There are literal kids on YouTube reviewing toys making millions of dollars. That long-held belief that you must go to college is breaking down. Another long-held belief that is breaking down is that you are your job. There was a time where your job created your identity and basically your worth and your value to society. You would see it in obituaries. It would list the person's job because they only had one career because it was their identity. Even in engagement announcements in the newspaper, which I don't even know if they do those anymore, it would list where the bride and groom worked. It even asked on your marriage certificate when you went down to the courthouse to get your marriage license. Your identity is no longer being tied to your career choice. Burnout, job instability, and the economy have led many to reject the idea that work should be the central force of life. So there's more openness, I feel, in the collective to unconventional careers or changing careers throughout your lifetime. So this may be something that is faced by someone during this transit. Their career is their identity. Jackie went to school to be a news reporter, and that's all she's ever known. But here lately, reporting the news every single day is taking a toll on her mental health because of all of the negativity that she constantly has to speak about. But what in the world can she do when quite literally people ask her boyfriend when he is out in town, how is the news reporter lady doing? It's her identity. This transit will force Jackie to reflect how feeling responsible towards her job is keeping her from reaching her highest potential. How can she use her public speaking skills to share things with others in a more positive fashion that would not be so draining on her? Now, as time goes on, Jupiter is going to keep driving its bus through Cancer until it meets up with a square to Neptune in Aries on June 19th, 2025. So yeah, I know it seems kind of brutal. Okay, Jupiter just keeps making these squares early on in this transit. But honestly, I'm kind of glad that it comes out of the gate like this because it just brings up all of the stuff so that we can get through it and heal. And then we can get on to the good stuff that this transit brings. It's like you have this dream, but how are you going to make it happen? With these two transits, it lets you get real clear on how you're going to make it all happen and balance it all within your family. So 10 days after Jupiter enters Cancer and 4 days after the exact square with Saturn, Mr. Jupiter is going to have some tension with Mr. Neptune out there in space. Cancer is a water sign and Neptune is a watery planet. So this transit is going to stir up the waters within your soul and make them a little murky for a second. This will not be a time to act, okay? But rather just let things calm down and settle so that you can figure out a plan on how to make your dreams happen. With the Saturn transit, it's asking you to step out of your comfort zone. But then you step into this murky water that you have to clean out. During the transit of Jupiter square Neptune, it's going to be a very good time to review your goals and dreams, even though the outcomes may be completely unknown to you. The first few weeks of Jupiter moving into Cancer will be a fantastic time for reflecting. Water is a reflecting element after all. It will be an amazing time to reflect and to create a plan. If you take actions or make changes abruptly with no plan at all, you will be disillusioned. You have to be strategic with this energy just like the elites are. They do nothing without a plan first. When Jupiter hits the exact square with Neptune, questions like, how does your nurturing conflict with your dreams? How do your emotional needs clash with your visions and fantasies? Or even, how does your dreams go up against your mother's point of view? During this time, you will want to reflect on these questions and come up with a plan, which is Saturn, that incorporates your dreams, which is Neptune, and nurturing others, which is Jupiter. Miss Ashley and her mama, they've had one complex relationship all of Ashley's life. Ashley has honestly always felt like more of the adult. Even when she was a child, she felt like an adult. There was a point where she was a kid where her mom became addicted to pain pills that the doctor had prescribed her for a medical condition that she had. So Ashley was left picking up the pieces for her mom. She would get herself ready for school. She even signed her own school papers sometimes because, she just never knew if her mom was going to be sober enough to do so. Well, fast forward, okay? Today, Ashley is 41 years old. And now mom has been able to come off the pain pills and she is currently sober. But that doesn't mean she's any more reliable. Now, the mom is in her 60s and experiencing health problems that are quite chaotic and expensive. So she moves in with Ashley. Ashley has always felt a responsibility to her mother her whole entire life. But juggling a job, maintaining a house, and now piling her mother's care on top of her plate has prevented Ashley from being able to expand into her highest potential. Yet at the same time, Ashley feels this immense guilt if she doesn't take care of her mom. Like, who is going to do it if I don't? This is the things that Neptune is going to bring up when it squares Jupiter. How does your family values conflict with your dreams? Like, maybe Ashley's mom starts criticizing how she keeps her house or belittling her about the way she cooks or something. Or maybe Ashley designs some meditation time in her schedule only to have things consistently come up with her mom's health that takes that time away. Ashley is having to be a caretaker and a provider when her soul doesn't want to do that. She dreams of the day that she can sing and be on stage and connect with others through her music. She knows she can heal others through her music. So there's this inner tension within her. You know, she wants to take care of her mom. That's the Jupiter in Cancer. But she also wants to heal the world with her music, and that's the Neptune and Aries in her. Because of this transit, Ashley starts reflecting on how she can make her dreams a reality. And then she realizes she can allow others to help take care of her mom. She starts to journal possible ideas, like maybe a nursing home or an at-home nurse comes to visit every day, or maybe another relative or family member or friend can take her mother in. Ashley also feels a little judged if she sends her mom to a nursing home so that she can pursue her singing career. I mean, doesn't that mean she's a little selfish if she does that? I'm not saying this Jupiter square Saturn or Jupiter square Neptune is going to be an easy transit if you have things that you have to work on. But at the end of this transit, if you allow things to come up and you process them, you will be doing what you love to do, be emotionally secure, be confident in who you are, and be supported by those around you. So just keep this in mind when you're going through the shedding process. A fantastic growth opportunity during these particular transits with Jupiter would be learning how to properly assert yourself while still remaining emotionally connected to your family. Neptune and Aries wants you to assert your dreams. Saturn and Aries wants you to take action with a plan. And Jupiter and Cancer wants you to remain emotionally connected to those around you. So for Ashley, she realized she's just going to have a heart-to-heart talk with her mom and explain that she's not in the position or time period in her life where she can take care of her mom. This doesn't mean that she hates her mom at all. In fact, it's actually quite the opposite. She loves her mom so much that she's willing to find a reliable caregiver that can provide her mom with the help that she needs. And the best part is, Ashley can still have energy to visit all of the time and maybe even sing her some of her new songs that she's written. And that's okay for Ashley to do. Ashley also decides that therapy would be a good idea during this transit so she can process those feelings of being judged or filled with guilt for finding an alternative way of taking care of her mom and following her passions. She also plans to use her alone time that she would gain from not having her mom there to write songs about how addiction affects someone so that she can connect with others that have gone through the same thing with a loved one. You see how this transit works? Jupiter is the truth, Neptune is the illusion. So in the beginning, there will be some fogginess on what the heck you're going to do and how the heck you're going to make it all happen. But by the end, you'll have a clear plan. It will no longer be murky and unclear. Now, after this alignment, Jupiter starts driving his bus again, and he looks in his mirrors and he doesn't see any planets. That's because little old Pluto in Aquarius is in his blind spot. So on June 24th, 2025, which is a couple days after, the Neptune square, Jupiter and Cancer will be in conjunct to Pluto in Aquarius. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing. This aspect just shows that Jupiter in Cancer and Pluto in Aquarius don't really understand one another. I mean, think about it. Jupiter in Cancer is about protecting the home and creating emotional bonds with those that you love. It's a placement that wants to hold on to traditions. But Pluto in Aquarius is about upheaval and transformation and digging up roots to change them. It's a more detached energy because it has change that it has to make happen. So Pluto in Aquarius is future thinking and wants to change society. And it doesn't understand why in the world Jupiter in Cancer wants to worry about its emotional world and its family. There are bigger things at hand to focus on. And Jupiter in Cancer just cannot understand why Pluto in Aquarius wants to be independent and create all this uproar. Wouldn't it just be better to create a nice, warm, inviting home rather than destroying the home to build it back later? They just don't really understand one another. So when this transit occurs, you're naturally going to feel some inner tension. But at the end of this transit, if you process the energy that comes up, you will leave this bus stop embracing new perspectives and expanding your world view and honoring your roots all at the same time. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? This will be the time to reflect where in your life your nurturing is not fully aligning with helping society for the greater good. So during this transit, the way that you relate to changes that are occurring in society may change. It's very possible to have a mind shift change where you realize old paradigms are falling. So what innovative ways can you come up with to care for others in your life? You can be the example for others where you're the bridge of the world of traditions to the world of progressions. You're the bridge that connects those two. These answers will again be different for everyone. But one big question most people will have to answer is, what am I being loyal to that is keeping me stuck and unable to move forward? Are you being loyal to a partner who is not supporting your passion project, therefore you can't get it out to the world to help others? Are you being loyal to a job that is no longer serving you? Are you being loyal to a belief system because it's what you were taught? Are you being loyal to a parent because you don't want to upset them for not living up to their expectations of you? Are you being loyal to your house because you're too scared to move somewhere else or you think that you can't? Where in your life are you not letting go? You may feel this inner tug of war come up where you want to maintain what is rather than making a more progressive, bold move to take you into your future. And with Jupiter being in Cancer, most people are going to give birth to a passion project that they're emotionally invested in, whatever that may be. And at this particular time, some will have to answer how their project will help humanity and help others for the greater good. This transit really wants you to be a part of something bigger than yourself, but also at the same time honoring your emotional needs and boundaries. So you will have to integrate these conflicting energies. How can I be a part of a large societal transformation and yet stay balanced and in my emotional integrity all at the same time? Lots and lots and lots of profound wisdom is going to definitely come through during this Jupiter and Cancer transit. Now, after Jupiter has his aspect with Pluto, we start to calm down. So I know it's a lot of tough energy right off the bat. It's a lot of tough love. But after June, Jupiter won't see another harsh aspect until October 23rd, 2025. Just in time for Scorpio season. Now, this will be a time where Jupiter meets up in a square with Chiron. And if you want a more in-detail story about Chiron and what it represents in your chart, then you will make sure you want to watch my video that is called The Most Tender Spot in Your Chart. I go in depth in that video on what Chiron is and how it affects you. So October 23rd, 2025, Jupiter is going to square Chiron. And my dears, this will be a sensitive time for some of my little buttercups out there. So allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to cry, whatever you need to do. It's okay. Chiron is wounded, and he highlights a wound in you that you end up using to heal others, but it's not fun. Because what you really want is others to actually help you heal this wound because it's so painful. This is more than likely going to have to be something that you heal from your childhood, more than likely. Painful experiences may be brought up that are connected to your family or the way you were or were not nurtured by your parents or your emotional safety during your childhood. You know, we all weren't raised like kids today with an emotional awareness. We grew up during different times where our parents often had their own unhealed traumas that they projected on their kids. They didn't know anything about emotional awareness or inflicting trauma. They just know how they were raised. They didn't really think of the long-term lasting impact on you because of this trauma. So now during this transit, we're going to be called to heal this childhood trauma, or I should say traumas. Some of us are going to have to heal more than one thing so that we can become emotionally vulnerable as an individual and collective and not feel like we're going to be exploited. By healing this, we can impact those we love, especially our children, and make sure that they grow up not having to endure any of this abuse, manipulation, or trauma that our parents put on us. You are the one here to heal your family's lines. Changing your generational karma starts by being strong enough to be put in the same situations that your parents were put in, but making a different choice. When you make that choice a different choice, it collapses the timeline. So if your mom remained in an abusive relationship with your dad and you watched her over and over and over be subjected to this abuse and never leave, then when you attract a man like your dad, you leave. You do not tolerate the abuse. You become the example to the future generations that it is not okay to tolerate abuse. Or let's say one of your parents was abusive to you. If you did something wrong, you would get spanked and yelled at and told to shut up. When you have kids and they do something wrong, you explain to them what they did wrong and how it impacted and affected others. And you brainstorm with them what are some alternative ways to handle the situation next time. You don't dismiss the child and spank them and hit them. This is how the collective can move into higher vibrations. Believe me, your children are always watching you. They pick up on everything. So be a good example. Now, November 11th, 2025, Jupiter goes into retrograde. And then if you're Christian and you celebrate Christmas, well, boy, do I have a surprise for you. Jupiter retrogrades back to the square with Chiron just in time for the holidays. Those Christmas gatherings are going to be lit this year. But all joking aside, it makes sense that it's occurring during this time because it is a time where people visit family that they don't always see on a day-to-day basis. So these triggers can be brought up so that they can be worked out and that you can grow. Now, Jupiter stays retrograde until March 11th, 2026. And at that time, it stations direct. And then finally, it enters Leo on June 29th, 2026. And I'll make a video on that a little closer to it happening. Now keep in mind, this is just a general overview of the energies in the sky and how they play out. The house that this transit occurs in and the aspects that are made to it to your other natal components will affect how Jupiter in Cancer impacts your life. Knowing which house and what aspects are made will give you a more customized understanding of what themes you're going to be going up against in the next 13 months. If you want to know at a deeper level how you will personally be affected by this transit that is based on your sun, moon, and rising sign, then head on over to my Patreon where you can unlock the exclusive extended version of this video that goes into detail on what to expect for each rising sign. You know me, I can't just make a short, simple, sweet video. I have to go into detail about everything I do. Love you, my little buttercups. Mwah.